Hey guys, this is Thigh Company here. Welcome everybody to today's live stream. Today is January 17th, 2024. Hope I've been having a good day so far. But yeah, for today's live stream, we're going to be talking about or retelling one of my friend stories. This is about one of my, I guess you could say, sort of current, sort of past friends. But I'm going to be talking about the story of one of my friends named Cody. And Cody was like a neighbor who I met, I want to say back in maybe 2008, 2009, maybe a bit later than that. But he was a guy I met when I was still in middle school. I think he was like a year older than me. And he went to a different middle school, but we ended up going to the same high school from my freshman year. But it was kind of a whole crazy. Yes, we have a bunch of crazy stories with him, and I'll kind of talk about a little bit of each one. But yeah, we met, and right now, because he and I, we lived in East Charlotte or Southeast Charlotte, and I don't know if he was renting out the house there or if he was like living there officially with his family there. I don't quite recall that, but he had sort of a what we call a what's the word? It's not a cul-de-sac house, but it's a house that is like on a edge between two different streets. There's a name for that, but it's like apparently it's a good thing to have, from what I've been told. But his house had like a lot of trees and woods in it, and a bunch of different people lived at that house. It was him, his mom. I think his grandparents lived there. Mom's brother and the husband was there, and a few other like miscellaneous people there. Cousin, I think he had a sister there. A lot of different people, and I don't remember what like the profession was of the family because they kind of did a bunch of different things. But for some reason, my grandfather kind of thought they were kind of like redneck family, even though I didn't really think that. But it was kind of a funny thing to have during that time. But I think what ended up happening was we were hanging out because we were kind of like neighbors, and just by being neighbors, you kind of over time become friends with one another. And I remember, we would go to his house to play different video games like Mortal Kombat. He was into like the big anime at the time. I think was like Naruto, Bleach. He had a bunch of Shonen Jump magazines. And I remember he like gave me a bunch of them as like a gift. So that was cool. We had like, I want to say he had a huge collection himself, but he gave me like 3 or 4 years worth of Shonen Jump magazines, and they were basically like right when Naruto first came out. It had Bleach in it. I think it had Yu-Gi-Oh still in it as well. What's the name of that samurai one? There's like, I want to say one of them had Inuyasha and another one had oh god, what's the one? It's like Ryu or let me see if I can. I'm gonna try to look it up here. Ryu Samurai. Oh, I can't type it for some reason because of my keyboard being broken. This laptop. But yeah, he had a huge anime collection. He also liked to collect like crystals, like jade crystals, energy crystals. He had that. And I remember he would always like buy pizza, and we would always have like a pizza party at his place. He also collected airsoft rifles, and I remember we would like have he had a few guns, and we'd do like target practice in the backyard, which was funny because he would have like he had like a pistol that had like a canister you would put into it. Then he had a pump action like rifle, and we would like shoot anything from like cardboard boxes, tin cans. And I think he was like one of the few first people who got me into playing Mortal Kombat all the time. Then I know one time he was trying to build like a tree house in his backyard, and that was a crazy period because I remember like stepping on a nail, and that was not a fun time. Having to not being able to walk for like a week or two. And I think I did that twice there. Yeah, because I know one time I stepped on it and I had like a sock that was like white and that turned red later. That was I remember that. Then there was one period, which is what I have the thumbnail based on. He came over to my place, and my family thought he was like crazy, like he had ADHD or something. And we came up with this crazy project that we were going to go and start our own like game studio, and we were going to build games and all that. And what we did was we had this like big ping pong table, and we put it to the side of the house, inside like kind of like a living room or party room. And he started bringing all kinds of junk, like old junk computers. And I don't know what we ended up doing. Like somehow I turned the computer on, and it had like really, really old version of Windows on it. I want to say it was like, I don't know if it was Windows 95. Maybe probably was even earlier than that. Yeah, I think it was like Windows 95 or even the version before that. Let me see. I'm like looking up photos right now of Windows 95 on Google. It probably was 95, maybe even 93. What's 93? 93 or 95, but a really old version. And we were going to make games, and we were going to sell them in the computer store. That was like this crazy idea that we had. And I was going to be like the designer of drawing the games. He was going to do drawing and programming. I know that was a crazy time. We also, let's see, we had one story where, and I think this was back during when he was wanting to build a treehouse. He apparently found a neighbor in a neighborhood who had part of his property go on to like a nature reserve and also like a county park or something. And he had a bunch of like bamboo that was growing in the backyard. And we went into this one area, and I think it was Cody or somebody brought like an axe or hatchet to go and cut down this bamboo. And we cut down like a few pieces that was like right next to a river that was not even on the property, but it was like next to like a bridge or something that kind of went around this area. So it's far away from anybody's like house, but like apparently what had happened was some guy had noticed Cody, and he went after Cody, was yelling at him for walking around the neighborhood with with an axe in his hand, and I was just carrying the bamboo. And I think the guy went to Cody's mom or something, started harassing Cody's mom. And then like the next day, he somehow found my house. And apparently what had happened was this guy was making threats that he was going to have Cody arrested or something. And so he wanted $1,000 from me and $1,000 from Cody's family. And the guy was not even the homeowner or anybody like in the area. He was just like a guy just passing through. So I don't know whatever happened, but apparently that was the story, that Cody had done something, like because he was holding like, I guess the claim was because Cody was holding a weapon or something like that, that it violated something, which was complete nonsense. And I remember that was like a weird time too, because we also had there's like 2 or 3 weird things that happened. Like I think Cody's mom or Cody's uncle or somebody smoked cigarettes all the time, and somebody had like raised the prices of cigarettes from like $1 or $2 for a pack to like over $5, and everybody was freaking out. And then the second thing was like there was what they called swine flu. There was a swine flu uh, outbreak during that time, and this was like probably 2008, 2009. And I remember they were like afraid to go outside. It was just a crazy thing. But I remember Cody and we did a bunch of crazy things in the neighborhood. Like we were exploring homes that were for sale. Like we would go around the back and would like take a look at the home and be like, oh, they need to redo this. We need to, do that. You gotta add this addition. You gotta break this wall down. And we're talking about these like fantasies of what we'd do to make the house look better. Um, and I think what ended up happening was we went to the same high school, and we were there the whole ninth grade. And somehow I don't know if Cody was a year older than me or was like a 10th grade or a sophomore, but apparently he had disappeared, and I had never figured out what happened. And he was telling me all these stories that, oh, he would get onto the bus and he would like fight people on the buses and a bunch of other crazy things I can't really exactly say on YouTube. But apparently the story was he had dropped out to help his family with financial troubles. And then they moved out of that house when he was a neighbor, and they had moved to somewhere in Gastonia, which is like west of Charlotte, and that's like at least half an hour to an hour out from where we lived. And then they moved again even further out from Charlotte somewhere, and I never figured out where they moved to, and never really kept in touch or visited once they had moved out of Southeast Charlotte. And what ended up happening was Cody ended up being like a mechanic, and I think he was working somewhere in Gastonia or west of Gastonia, and then also working in Pineville, which is south of Charlotte. And he was kind of working in a bunch of different places and then going back home. And then eventually what had happened was he met some girl, and they got married and had kids, and basically that was the end of Cody from there. And last time I talked to Cody, we had 2 different stories going on. One story was that he was wanting to move to possibly Monroe, which is southeast of, or kind of east, southeast of Charlotte, about an hour, which from my place was like maybe 30 minutes. And he wanted to buy a piece of land there and build a house there and do car work or mechanic work there. But then he like stopped that idea and ended up buying or living in a trailer somewhere towards Gastonia or even further out, towards like west, maybe towards South Carolina. But so that Monroe idea never happened, basically. So what ended up happening was, from my understanding, he works between a few different cities that are on the outskirts of Charlotte and even further out, doing mechanic work. So that's kind of the end of the story of Cody. I can go into more details if you all want to hear more stories. But that kind of covers a lot of different things there with Mortal Kombat, anime stuff, pizza stuff. I can go into more details if you all are interested in all of that. But I figured to try to kind of do a quick basis or outline of what it was like having a neighborhood friend back in like middle school and first year of high school. But yeah, if you all want to hear more friend stories, feel free to comment down below what you would like to hear for future shows and episodes. Otherwise, guys, make sure to subscribe to Thy Company. Also, like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below what you would like to see for future videos and future live streams. And thank you guys so much for watching the show. We will see you all on the next episode of Spin Thai Company. Hope you all have a good, wonderful rest of your day. Take care, guys.